In this week's Parsha, Parshas Eikev, we learn one of the powerful secrets to forgiveness, to really seeing another person's inner heart and their fullness of their journey. So there's a verse in this week's Parsha where we learn about Hashem, that Hashem does not take favor, does not show favor, and does not take bribes. So we know that just like we keep the Torah, Hashem keeps the Torah. And just like we're not allowed to take a bribe, right? A judge cannot be bribed, or they're an invalid judge, right? If someone is bribed by someone that they're doing a court case on, they cannot be the judge for that case. Because we know that what a bribe does is it blinds a person's eyes. It makes their heart, drawn after that person. So too, Hashem does not take bribes. And yet, we know that we are Hashem's children. And so it's natural to favor your children. And we know that Hashem does take bribes because the Midrash tells us that Hashem allows that our tshuva is a bribe to Hashem. And in Shir Shirim, it says that Hashem takes our bribe. And it says actually that allows himself to be like bribed by our heart, which is really, really beautiful. And so what does this mean? What's a bribe? A bribe is not, just the idea of showing favor. Like, okay, I like you, so I'm going to let this one slide. Or like, normally I'd be mad, but you're a good one. Let's not make a big deal about it. A bribe actually makes it so that there is no problem. When someone's bribed, they no longer see whatever the problem that someone had done as a big deal, like a judge being bribed, God forbid. It's like, oh, I know that you ran that red light, but I don't remember what the problem was with that anymore. You seem amazing. Like, what are we even doing here? Just going out of this courtroom. Like, it really is that level of like the person's heart is drawn after someone when they're bribed, to the point that they just only see the good in them. Like, there really is no problem. And we know that if someone bribes another person, like someone bribes a judge, even if the judge doesn't know about it, let's say the person puts money in the judge's pocket when they're not looking, it still affects the way the judge looks at that person. And that's such an incredible thing because it shows like subconsciously, it just allows you to love that person when you're bribed. And so this is the positive advantage of what a bribe is, the idea that we can bribe Hashem. And so what is the idea of bribing Hashem? Is that when we do tshuva, Hashem counts it as a bribe, meaning he makes it that he sees no problem in us. It's not just like, okay, you did this sin, but I love you. It's, no, you're not that person who did that sin. I see you as a totally new person. And the Rebbe points out in this incredible and very deep sikha that is incredibly detailed, a lot about quoting the Rambam and different sources around tshuva. Highly recommend this sikha. But for our purposes here, just this idea of what does tshuva do to a person. So there's the hefsa, which is, the object. And then there's the gavra, which is the person. So when we talk about a mitzvah or talk about a sin, there's the hefsa, which is the object of the mitzvah. And then there's the gavra, the one doing the mitzvah. Or the sin, there's the hefsa, the sin that was caused. Like, okay, here's the broken, damaged property. And then there's the gavra, the person, or here's the mean words that were said, and here's the person who said the words. So when it comes to tshuva, there's the level of dealing with erasing the actual object, like the actual deed that was done. And that is done through tshuva. And in the temple, it's done through tshuva and also bring a karban. And what the karban does is it actually makes it not just that the thing is fixed, but now there's a pleasing aroma. Like, we're already working on the relationship. Because let's say you spill something and it has a bad smell, leftover milk. And so you spilt it. Okay, so there's the sin. And it's like, okay, cleaned it up. But it still smells bad. Like, okay, the thing isn't there anymore, but there's still not a nice taste. And the karban is that level of like our maisim tovim, our good deeds, of like, okay, I want to actually make this relationship beautiful. And I want to give to you. And I want to leave a good taste in both of our mouths, which is one level to this act of tshuva, which is returning to Hashem or returning in our relationships. And then there's this other level of like, I'm on a dare of tshuva, meaning I want to be a new person. I don't want to be the gavra. I don't want to be the person who did that thing. I don't want to be the person who swore at my husband. I don't want to be the person who yelled at my husband in public. I don't want to be that person who put what other people think in front of my most important, cherished relationship. That's not me. And that inner depth of tshuva, of a person's heart, that sets a person on a journey of being a whole new person. And the Rambam details different, ways, tshuva, tzedakah, ma'asim tovim, tshuva, tzedakah, tefillah, right? Returning, right? This returning of the heart and giving tzedakah and prayer, all, are these cleanses, this acts of returning to who we really are. And of course, at good deeds, because I'm not that person, I'm this person. It's stepping into who we really are in our relationship with Hashem and in our relationship with our husbands and those who are closest to us. And what this is really doing, the Rebbe says, is actually making us a new person. And so when Hashem looks down and says, this person did a sin, it's I don't see the person, I don't see the sin, because they did tshuva and they brought a carbon, or they did, good deeds. But where's the person? Here's this person who did a sin, but I don't see that person. And that's the idea of Hashem allows himself to be bribed. It's as if it's a totally different person. And a bribery is it's not really fair, right? That's the idea of what a bribery is. It's what? That's not fair. But it's not really fair. We did something bad. And so what's fair is there should be some level of punishment or accountability here. And Hashem's saying, yeah, but you did tshuva. You're a new person. So this person that you are now doesn't need any punishment. It doesn't need any reminder or warning or getting back in line, because you already did that. You're a new person. And that's really the opportunity of what tshuva is. That's the opportunity of what any learning curve or, so to speak, mistake is that opportunity to come closer to who we truly are in essence, especially in our relationships. Our relationships always push us to be truer to who we are, to get to that place of essence. And so what happens is that a person's a new baby. So what happens with a new baby? Sorry, not a new baby. The Rebbe says conception, okay? So you have, a child is conceived and there's this embryo and there's just stem cells. Everything's kind of in this raw, unformed state of infinite potential. And then by 40 days, a gender is formed and the baby's forming, but it takes 9 months for that initial moment of conception to actually turn into a fully formed new being. And the Rebbe says the same with our tshuva. First, we start with that moment of, oh, this doesn't feel good. I don't want this. This isn't me. This isn't how I want to show up with Hashem or with my husband. No. And that is enough to be able to see that from that moment, we're going to become a totally new person. Okay, it's going to take ma'asim tovim. It's going to take good deeds. It's going to take inner work. It's going to take knowing that we are the godly soul and reminding ourselves. The Rebbe says, even if we have to remind ourselves more than 100 times a day, you are, I don't know if it said 100 times a day, but more, even if it said, if even a person told themselves 100 times that they're a godly soul and they didn't really believe it, you have to say it again. Really believing that we're the godly soul and really trusting in our goodness and really trusting in Hashem and really asking Hashem through prayer and moments to help us and really giving tzedakah and say, Hashem, help me be, the person that I really am. And all of this is actually forming us to be a new person. And what's so incredible about this is this idea of Hashem takes this bribe. Hashem sees us as the new person in that moment when we just start the process. And only Hashem can do this because Hashem knows our heart, right? We learned about King David, that Hashem saw his heart. Hashem sees our heart. And with the reason it's called a bribe is because from our perspective, it's wait, that's a little bit too easy. But from Hashem's perspective, that's just the truth. That's why it's not really a bribe for Hashem. It's only a bribe from our perspective, because from our perspective, it's they're not a new person. They just said sorry. But from Hashem's perspective, it's that's the beginning. That's the formation of newness, of healing, of tshuva. And so what we can take from this for our own relationships is so much. And one thing I like to take away is really just receiving an apology. However my husband or anyone close to me or anyone in my life wants to say sorry, wants to do tshuva, wants to make a step forward for connection, receive it deeply. And something I'm always so inspired by Gula wives and having friends who practice these skills is hearing stories of just being willing to forgive even when it wasn't perfect, willing to be able to receive whatever that forgiveness looked like, because it's really stepping into the world of the heart, of Hashem's world, of seeing that person from a godly place of, I see their efforts and I see where they want to go and I see what direction they're going in. And, instead of it needing to be I need my husband to say the perfect apology, I can receive the direction he's going in. And instead of being well, he's not perfect now, I can see where he's heading. And where he's heading is godliness. and to receive that and cherish that and encourage that instead of nitpicking and criticizing it and breaking it down, but really to step into Hashem's realm of like letting it be to a place of like, yeah, it's all good. I can really deeply forgive. I'm allowed to forgive. And, putting ourselves into Hashem's care. We're not afraid to forgive. And really being able to, even if we can't feel like we could forgive in the moment, but to at least tap into Hashem's perspective. From Hashem's perspective, that act of tshuva was so huge. And with ourselves, right? Saying, okay, I'm not that fully new formed person now, but even with my desire to be new, my desire to be godly, Hashem sees that not just as the potential, but as the actual. So l'chaim to Shabbos of seeing ourselves and those around us, not just for their potential, but their full godly realness. Because even just the desire to be in a good space is so huge. Even just the desire to love, the desire to respect, the desire to show up in a new way, it's such a blessing, it's such a gift, and something to be cherished and celebrated. Wishing you an amazing Shabbos of Parshas Eikev.